We need to talk about the land sale though, because this thing is happening soon. June 2nd through June 5th. I'm not even going to pretend to be able to translate to all of you guys what that is in UTC. Look it up. But there's the dates and times. This is when this thing is starting and ending. And let's go over the details of the sale itself, because there are some intricacies here that people need to be aware of. The timing we just mentioned a moment ago. The total duration is 3 days, and land is going to be sold in batches. So can you help us understand what's going to happen there? There's batches. These batches are releasing on an hourly basis. Tell us about that. Help people understand how the land is going to be rolled out in terms of auction.
The total duration is 3 days. As you just said, we're starting on June 2nd, 1 p.m. UTC. I think that converts to like 6 a.m. for PST and like maybe 9 a.m. for Eastern if you're in America. In terms of the amount of plots per batch, so there's 282 plots. Now, this is a batch of all different types of tiers, except for the tier 5s. So the important thing there is you don't need to worry about being online at a certain time where we're like going through and selling all of the tier 1s at once, all of the tier 2s at once, and then all like it's done in batches that have all different types of tiers at all different times of the day to reduce the amount of FOMO. What we don't want is people going in there in a frenzy. It's literally we're releasing a batch every single hour on the hour for 3 days, right? That encompasses all of them. So there's no need to go, okay, I'm going to stay up with like 85 energy drinks for the entire 3 days so I can snipe. I mean, you can do that if you're really, really looking to get specific land plots and like you're waiting and you know when they're about to be released and stuff like that. But the idea is for like the general person that just wants to pick up a plot or two, that's it, nothing crazy. You don't need to worry about being there at a set time or anything like that. You can relax, just choose which plot you want, and yeah, it's made really, really easy. Like we truly have designed this in a way to reduce FOMO. Like as crazy as that sounds, as one of the co-founders of this and a person who's trying to get as much value as possible, we genuinely don't want people to FOMO in, and that's why the sale is set up like that.
Makes sense, and it's a Dutch auction, and so the duration of each batch, if you will, here, and we'll talk about the Dutch auction in a moment, is 2 hours. So every hour, a new batch is released, and then that batch will last for 2 hours, and then it will be sold at some point during that period of time. And so there's new batches constantly rolling out and rolling out and rolling out and rolling out over the course of the 3 days. Just wanted to illustrate that point. And what's rolling out? This is what's rolling out. There's a total of 100,000 plots of land total, but in this sale, only 20,000 will be made available in this first sale. Let's not go over every single tier here, but as you can see, there's more of the tier 1s here, and there's only 2 of the tier 5s at the top. So obviously there's an increasing rarity of land as you go up the tiers, which of course is why the price is reflective, a higher starting price for each tier. Rarity plays into that, in addition to those extra yield and production elements that we talked about before. But here's something that I really wanted to highlight are these Dutch auction starting prices that are right over here. So you mentioned don't FOMO in earlier, not financial advice. But what we're trying to say is we've designed this so you are discouraged from FOMOing in. So let's just dial in on these Dutch auction starting prices here. Did the council purposefully choose higher prices, if you will, higher prices than what we anticipate market value to be to find true price discovery? What was the decision making behind these prices that we see right here?
Yes, absolutely. So we actually had a situation where we as the team proposed a set of prices, and the council stepped in and said, hey, we think that those starting prices are too cheap. We need to increase them. You might be sitting there thinking, that's insane. Why would you do that? And the way that a Dutch auction works is it goes backwards from its starting price, right? So an English auction typically goes upwards. This one goes backwards and or downwards. And in the decay curve that we've set is very, very rapid. So essentially, a tier one plot after 30 minutes, and remember, they're going to be up for a total of 2 hours. But after 30 minutes, a tier one goes down to about 1.1 ETH, right? So it nearly halves in price in literally 30 minutes. So
they
you
decrease
can
at a rate of 2.5% per minute.
Per minute.
So these prices are just going down, 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 down over time here, guys. That's what you're referring to when you say don't FOMO in. If the price is going down by 2.5% per minute, that means that it's going to be cascading down. And then at some point, the market will say, okay, that's what that tier of land is actually worth. And then that's the actual value, right?
Correct. Yeah. And so that's why, it's kind of weird to go like, and some people who don't understand what a Dutch auction is, they look at that and they think, why is that so expensive, right? Like the starting price is insane. If we don't put the starting price higher than what we deem people or the fair market value, what's going to happen is everyone's going to try and purchase immediately as soon as the sale starts, right? Like let's say we put these plots at 0.3 ETH or whatever in tier ones. Like I think we had it at 0.5 ETH to start off with, and this was when ETH was like 4K. So they were about $2,000 at the time, which is about half the price that they were now. The council stepped in and said, at that price, literally everyone is just going to buy immediately. You might think, what's wrong with that, right? The problem with that is that everyone is trying to buy the same plots of land. And that's how you create this massive gas war that doesn't need to occur, right? Like we don't need to have that FOMO there where everyone's launching into it. What we've done is we've said, okay, let's inflate those prices. Let's position them to be really, really high and rapidly decrease them. That way, everyone has the ability to sit back and go, okay, I've got 2 hours to look at this. And when I feel comfortable based on my own financial situation, I can click buy and know that I'm going to be able to purchase that land.
This was put into place. The Dutch auction was put into place to help people be able to purchase land at its true market value. And what he's referring to, if you've never done a land sale before or bid on NFTs, but high demand NFTs before, the gas war he's talking about is if multiple people are going after the same NFT at the same time, whoever pays the most money in Ethereum gas fees wins. So that gets stupid. You're willing to pay 200, Kieran? I'll pay 300. You're willing to pay 500. I'll pay 1,000. Like people start stepping over each other and just blowing a bunch of money to get something. We are trying to avoid that. We don't want people to be wasting their time and their effort and their hard-earned money on battling each other over blockchain gas fees. Like that's the dumbest thing I could think of. We want people to get land at true market value, period. And so that's why the price is decaying like this. That was our thinking behind this. We want the regular, everyday, average person, if they're interested, to be able to buy land so that whales can't just whale out on gas and just scoop everything up and then basically control the market. We want regular people to be able to own land. Is that fair to say?
100%. Absolutely. And it ties back into our ethos that we are community first, right? We're not, a lot of people have said to us, why don't you just go out and just put those prices? You're going to sell out. You've got nearly 200,000 people that have registered for this land. Like, just do that, like maximize the revenue. And the fact is, we don't want to be sitting here in a week's time going, okay, we just wasted $100 million of people's gas or some ridiculous number. That just doesn't stay true to what Illuvium is. We're always going to try and minimize the amount that the community needs to spend to gain access to our stuff.